Hey guys, we're on day 10 of filming here. I think it's May the 7th. I don't have my little cameraman with me today, unfortunately, because shit blew up there last night on us, or the last couple days. We went from a whole 16 subscribers to 23. Now, the channel here was my son's idea to begin with. He watches lots of YouTube videos and he seems pretty taken by some of it. And I know I've said there to the subscribers or people that watch our videos so far that he's got a goal of 1 million subscribers. And for 6 years old, he's a smart little guy. He knows just how big of a number that is from 23 that we now have. So it's an ambitious goal, but we hope to get there someday. Personally, my own goal for this would be more just so that my son and I can do some bonding, and someday he'll be able to look back and I guess see the man that I was at this point in my life. I know I don't have that many memories from the age of 6, you know, but I still have my father with me, thankfully. Anyways, I thought this would be a nice project for us down the road to be able to look back on and see some of the stuff we did together. Now that said, because I don't have a cameraman today, I thought I'd spend this video just doing a little review of some of the tools that I have, some of the axes in particular. So I'll start off, there's a really popular axe that a lot of people have reviewed online called the Grand Forest Brooks small forest axe. And it has approximately a 19-inch handle and a 1.5 pound head. I figure this is going to be something in line with the size that axe would be. This is in fact a 19-inch handle. I don't know the weight of the head. This is actually a CRKT, what do you call it, tomahawk. So you can see here it's a tomahawk because the head can slide right off the handle for when you're out backpacking or something like that. I have this here. I actually really like this little tomahawk. I have it just for carrying in the woods when I'm out hiking or something like that, and we're in a trail where I need to knock off a few limbs or something like that out of our way. This is a fantastic little thing to backpack around with. The only complaint I would have on it is the grind that CRKT put on the bearded part of the axe down here. It's really, really hard to get this sharp down here at this bottom point. But besides that, it's a nice little tomahawk, and I think it's 1095 carbon steel. I'd have to look at that again, so my apologies. I'm not really a product reviewer. Comes with a nice little sheath, and the sheath has a belt loop that you can put around your belt to carry it. And it's not that bad to be carrying around with you. It's very lightweight, easy to transport, and so for something that you actually just want to go out in the woods for a hike or something for a day, or maybe camping overnight, it's a nice little axe. I would assume the same about the small forest axe. Although it's a very popular axe, I think it's a backpacker's tool, meant for going out for like weekend camping or something like that. In my experience from doing, well, you can see the firewood behind me, the pile's growing since the last time we filmed. I have to get, 4 or 5 cord of wood a year to heat my home, and this is just a tiny home in order to keep us warm through the winter time. I can only imagine outdoors the amount of volume of wood you would go through if you had to spend a week or two even out in the winter time. So I don't think really there'd be a whole lot of viability in having something like a small forest axe other than for a weekend camp out. It will do the work. You can do a lot with an axe, certainly a lot more than knives. I know there's a ton of knife reviews on YouTube, and quite honestly, in our type of a forest, I think a lot of that stuff is pretty garbagey. Like, it would take me 10 times the effort to use some of the knives that I have to try to do up my firewood and stuff as it would just even have a tool like this here. So I'm definitely a fan of axes if you live in any type of a forested area. But like I say, in terms of practical usage, these here are nice for backpacking, but these are not going to actually provide, as a working tool, they're not that great in terms of providing any volume of wood. Now, the next one I have has become one of my favorites, of course. This is a Grand Forest Brooks. This would be the Scandinavian forest axe. Now, my folks were kind enough to get this for me for Christmas, I think it was. It's a 25-inch handle on this one and a 2-pound head. Comes with a nice sheath. It's obviously too big to belt. Oh. Sorry guys, we're having camera problems here. I've got my camera held up by a wheelbarrow here in front of me, so it's quite the makeshift arrangement. I wish we had our cameraman back. Always adds a lot of life to the videos. So this here is a Scandinavian forest axe again. There's no belt loop on this here. Obviously, it's too big for that. It's a 25-inch handle, 2 pound head. Very, very nice axe. I'm glad I went with this over the small forest axe because of what I do and the volume of work I do. What I primarily use this for now, I do fell some small trees with it because it's a real sharp little thing and it glides through wood real nice, but mostly this is a limbing axe. This is for once you've downed your trees, you know, coming along and limbing them. I use it a lot for debarking trees, and I also use it for standing live trees when I want to come around and do some limbing like up above my head and stuff because it's fairly lightweight. I can use this for hours at a time out in the woods, reaching up above my head and knocking limbs down. And it's very, very sharp, so it does very little damage to the trees. All in all, I would say this is a really beautiful axe, but that said, if I wanted something for felling trees in the woods like I do to gather my firewood, and certainly any kind of larger diameter trees, I think I would have to look next into Grand Forest Bruks felling axes. So hint, hint, mom and dad, if you want to get me a nice gift. I'm thinking American felling axe has a 31-inch handle, and it's got a 3.3 pound head. That would probably be a more practical tool for outdoing some of the heavier work that I'm doing. So that's that one, the Grand Forest Bruks. Can't say enough good things about them. They're beautiful axe. Now next I have, this here is a Fisker's axe that I've had for quite some time. You can see it's actually quite similar in size. The handle's maybe an inch or so shorter. The head and weight, it's fairly on par. I don't have scales or anything. So this is fairly on par weight-wise with the Grand Fours, but because I now have the Grand Fours axe, I don't use this a whole lot. I find that the steel is a lot better in the Grand Fours and it's a lot sharper. Just a nicer axe to have and swing. So this one here is pretty much relegated to my three-wheeler now for on the back rack. And I use that sometimes if we're driving trails or something, and again, we end up in a spot where there's all kinds of trees or something fell down in our way. You can pull something out and clear your trail and keep going.